Look at the car in front of you. Now look at the one beside it. Now look across the street. They're different brands, different countries, different prices. But something is off. Something you've probably felt but never quite said out loud. They look like they came from the same mold. Same rounded shoulders, same sloped roofline, same pinched front end, like someone hit shuffle and got the same result every time. Now go to a supermarket parking lot on a Saturday morning. Stand at one end, look down the row. Silver, white, gray, black, silver again. It's not your imagination. It's not nostalgia making you think things used to be different. They genuinely were. And what happened between then and now isn't simple. It's not one decision. It's not one villain. It's a system. A quiet, invisible system. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let me show you. Go back 60 years, 1965. Park yourself on any American street corner. You'd see a Cadillac with tail fins like a fighter jet. You'd see a Ford Mustang with long, flat hood and aggressive stance. A Chevrolet Corvette crouched low to the ground like it was already moving. These weren't just cars. They were statements. They had personalities, real ones. Go to Europe, same era. The Citroën DS looked like it landed from another planet. The Alfa Romeo Giulia Sprint had lines that architects studied. The Mini was cheeky, round, and absolutely unlike anything else. Now bring yourself back to today. Open any car configurator on any website. Pick a compact SUV from Toyota, then one from Honda, then Hyundai, then Volkswagen. Scale them to the same size, remove the badges. Ask yourself honestly, can you tell which is which? That's the question this video is about. Not why designers got lazy. They didn't. Not why car companies stopped caring. They care obsessively. The answer is stranger and more interesting than that. Three forces converged, quietly, over decades. And together they built a world where almost every new car looked like every other new car. Force 1, regulation. Force 2, aerodynamics. Force 3, money. Each one took its toll. Let's start with regulation, because this one surprises people. We wanted safer cars. That was the right call. Nobody argues with that. But safety rules have shapes, and those shapes change the car. In 1998, the European Union began tightening pedestrian safety standards. The idea was simple. If a car hits a person, the hood should absorb some of the impact. Less injury, fewer deaths. To do that, you need space between the hood surface and the hard engine components underneath. You need the hood to crumple in a controlled way, which means the hood has to be higher. That's why modern cars have that strange, tall nose. It's not a styling choice, it's geometry, it's physics, it's law. Then came the roof. Crash tests require the roof to support the car's weight when it rolls over. That means more structure, thicker pillars, stronger steel. Thicker pillars block visibility, so designers compensate with larger windows, which changes proportions. One rule, one consequence, the whole car shifts. Then there are the bumpers. Modern bumpers must absorb low-speed impacts without major damage. They need to be a specific height, a specific distance from the ground. In the 1960s, bumpers were decorative, chrome strips, visual gestures. Today they're structural, engineered to exact millimeters, which means they all end up roughly the same shape. And visibility rules. Regulators demand minimum sightlines for drivers. Side mirrors must meet visibility angles. Glass areas must reach certain percentages of the door surface. Every one of these rules is reasonable. Every one of them on its own seems small, but stack them together, apply them globally, and you get a shape that starts to look inevitable. The regulation didn't flatten design on purpose. It was a side effect, a shape no one drew, a consequence no one planned. Force 2, aerodynamics. This one is more technical, but stay with me, it's worth it. Aerodynamic drag is the resistance a car feels as it moves through air. It's measured by something called a drag coefficient, or CD. Lower CD means less resistance. Less resistance means less fuel burned. In 1975, the average family car had a CD of around 0.45. That's a pretty blunt object pushing through the air. Today, that number is closer to 0.28. Some cars hit 0.22. That doesn't sound dramatic, but it is. Every tenth of a point is engineers fighting physics, reshaping pillars, rounding corners, sealing gaps. And here's the thing about aerodynamics. The laws of physics are the same everywhere. Wind doesn't care what brand badge is on the car. So when every car company runs the same simulations, when every team optimizes for the same drag target, when the same physics applies to every roofline, every mirror, every door handle, you get convergence. Not because Toyota copied Honda, not because BMW looked at Mercedes, because a sphere is the most aerodynamic shape, and the closer you get to a sphere, the more everything starts to rhyme. The flat windshield of the 1960s, terrible drag. Gone. The upright grille, massive air resistance, shrunk, angled or hidden. The squared-off tail creates turbulence, sloped now, always sloped, and fuel economy regulations made this worse, or rather more extreme. The US CAFE standards, first introduced in 1975, required manufacturers to hit fleet-wide MPG targets. European CO2 limits work the same way. Miss the target and you pay fines, real fines, millions of dollars. So every tenth of drag reduction isn't just engineering pride, it's money, it's compliance, it's survival. By the mid-2000s, every major manufacturer had sophisticated computational fluid dynamics software. They could simulate airflow over a car before building a single clay model. And all that software had the same goal, minimize drag. The result was predictable in hindsight. When you optimize everything for one thing, everything starts to look like the best solution to that one thing. And the best aerodynamic car shape is basically the same car. Every time. Force 3. Money. This is the one nobody likes talking about, but it's probably the most powerful. Building a car is not like building a phone. You don't just design it, manufacture it, and ship it. You build factories, you train workers, you develop supply chains. A new car platform, done by the underlying architecture, the suspension geometry, the floor structure, costs billions to develop, not millions. Billions. So sometime in the 1980s and 1990s, car companies made a decision. What if we didn't build a new platform for every car? What if we built one platform and put multiple cars on top of it? This is called platform sharing, and once it started, it spread fast. Volkswagen's MQB platform sits under the Golf, and the Audi A3, and the Seat Leon, and the Skoda Octavia. 4 different cars, 4 different brands, 4 different price points, 1 floor. Same wheelbase options, same firewall position, same engine mounting angle, different sheet metal on the outside, different badge on the grille, but fundamentally the same car. Toyota's TNGA platform works the same way. The Corolla and the CHR and the Prius share bones. The Camry and the RAV4 share bones. Different markets, different sizes, same DNA. Stellantis, which owns Jeep, Chrysler, Fiat, Peugeot, Citroën, Opel and more, does this aggressively. 14 brands, several shared platforms. The economics are irresistible. But platform sharing has a shape. When your floors are the same, your proportions are the same. Wheelbase, track width, suspension geometry. These things dictate how the body sits. Designers can change the skin, but they can't change the skeleton. And when the skeletons are shared, the silhouettes start to rhyme. Then came the mergers. Companies that used to compete started sharing resources, and with shared resources came shared suppliers. The same headlight supplier sells to Toyota and Ford. The same seat frame supplier sells to Hyundai and GM. The same mirror design gets adapted across 3 brands. None of this is sinister. It's efficient, rational, financially responsible. But efficiency has a look, and that look is starting to become universal. Here's what nobody tells you. This isn't the first time this happened. In the late 1800s, horse carriages looked remarkably similar. Different makers, different countries, different woods and fabrics, but the same basic shape, because the physics of a horse pulling a wheeled vehicle doesn't change. Then the automobile arrived, and for the first 20 years, no one knew what a car was supposed to look like. Early cars looked like carriages without horses, literally. They were called horseless carriages. Gradually, engineers figured out what a car actually needed, and gradually a shape emerged, a shape dictated by function, by roads, by weather, by speed. By the 1930s, aerodynamics became fashionable. Cars got rounder, faster looking, more sculpted. Then post-war optimism exploded into tail fins and chrome. Then the oil crises trimmed that excess. Every era of car design was shaped by the constraints of its time. What's different today is that the constraints are global and simultaneous, and they all push in the same direction. Safety laws are international now. Euro NCAP, US NHTSA, and China's CNCAP all pull from similar rulebooks. So the shape that satisfies all global regulations, that maximizes aerodynamic efficiency, that fits on shared platforms with shared suppliers, that hits fuel economy targets on every continent. That shape is not an accident. It was never going to be anything else. But here's the turn, and this matters. It's not the designer's fault. These are talented people. They went to school for years. They study proportion and form the way painters study light. They know exactly what a Jaguar E-Type looks like. They know exactly why a Ferrari Testarossa felt like nothing else. They can see the problem clearly, but they work inside a system with legal departments, cost targets, platform constraints, marketing sign-offs. A system where the question isn't what would look best. It's what can we build within budget that passes every regulation on an existing platform in time for next year's launch. That question has a different answer, almost always, and yet some brands still push back. Mazda built an entire design language, Kodo, around a single flowing surface. It reads as movement, even when the car is still. Every Mazda looks like a Mazda, immediately. Porsche has built the same basic silhouette for 60 years, not because they lack imagination, because they understand that identity is worth protecting. Alfa Romeo still makes cars that look like they were designed with some impatience, like whoever drew them couldn't wait to be done with the practical parts and get back to the beautiful ones. These brands found space inside the constraints. They didn't eliminate the forces. Nobody can do that, but they found room. Tiny, negotiated, hard-won room, and they filled it with something. That's not easy. It's a fight. Every time, against budgets, against the platform's geometry, against the regulations that demand that nose be that tall. But it's possible, and when it happens, you notice. You notice immediately without knowing why. You just know that car has something. So where does that leave us? Cars got safer, that's real. Cars got more efficient, that's real. Cars got cheaper to produce, which made them more available to more people, that's real too. The sameness isn't nothing. It came with something. It just came with a cost nobody wrote on the sticker. The cost was personality. The cost was the feeling you used to get when a car looked like nothing you'd ever seen. That feeling still exists. It's just rarer now. And maybe that's why when you do see a car with it, you stop. You actually stop and look, because it's surprising in a world where so little still surprises you. Which modern car do you think still has a soul? Which one still makes you look twice? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious what you'll say. And if you want more videos like this, well, slow, curious, no hype, subscribe.